Hi everybody, Elliot again with Lazy Dogs Records, and there's a thread that started Gimme 10 live blues albums, and so I had to dig into my CDs. As much blues as I have, most of my blues are on CDs, and I didn't have hardly any albums that were live blues albums. I had a few. First, what we're listening to right now is Raya Cooper, Showtime, and this is from 1976, December 1976 in San Francisco at the Great American Music Hall. And a lot of what Raya Cooper does is blues, but he's not limited to that. It's a lot of different things. Hard to pin him down, I'll put it that way. But this is a really good album. And if for nothing else, there's this song on here, Jesus on the Main Line, blow you away. I believe it's coming up in just a minute. Right now I'm singing about alimony, something I'm glad I never had to experience. Okay, so let's get to the albums first. You can't get any more basic than this one. J.B. Smith. And Mr. J.B. Smith here, this album is on Tacoma Records, and it's called Ever Since I Have Been a Man Full Grown, and two other prison songs sung unaccompanied. And I don't know why they say two other, because there's about 7, 8 songs on here. And this was all recorded live at a Ramsey Prison Farm in Texas. On November 18th, 1965, Bruce Jackson did the recordings. And the one that really got to me is the first one on the first side. And it's I Got Too Much Time for the Crime I Done. That is a killer. I mean, it's just him unaccompanied singing. And it's blues, man. I mean, you don't get much bluesier than that. The next is proof that you don't have to be a certain race or a certain economic status or any of those things to play the blues. Because this guy grew up in privilege, a Caucasian fellow that grew up in privilege, but he did some great blues. This is John Hammond solo. And it was recorded in 1976 at Vanguard's 23rd Street studio. So it's just recording in the studio, but it's just a straight live recording of John Hammond. And he does some Muddy Waters. He does some Blind Boy Fuller, Elmore James. There's a couple of Elmore James. Jimmy Reed, Billy Boy Arnold, Robert Johnson, Chester Burnett, we know who that is, and Preston Foster. I'm not familiar with Preston Foster. That's a really good solo acoustic album. You know, I'm all into the acoustic stuff. But let's get real electric here. Rock bands can play the blues too. How about the Allman Brothers Band, Atlanta International Pop Festival 1970. July of 1970, and of course this is the original lineup with Dwayne and Greg, Dickie, Barry, Butch, J-Mo, and Tom Doucette, I guess is how you say it, who plays harmonica sometimes with him, but was never actually a part of the band. He's with them for these shows. There are a couple of shows on here. And Johnny Winter plays guitar on Mountain Jam. I noticed Ron Haggerty had a Johnny Winter collection up. I hadn't got a chance to view that one yet. I'm going to go to that pretty soon. But so Johnny Winter is on Mountain Jam. Mountain Jam on one of these on the July 5th performance. Mountain Jam, and that's the one Johnny Winter's on, is 28 minutes and 20 seconds. So the Allman Brothers were a jam band before there was a name for them. That's some great blues on there. They do Statesboro Blues, One Way Out, Trouble No More, Every Hungry Woman, Hoochie Coochie Man, Whipping Post, Stormy Monday. So I mean, it's blues, whether an original Greg wrote or whether it's a classic blues song. Okay, next, go to my CDs. Ted Hawkins. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ted Hawkins or not. If you haven't, I highly recommend him. He's passed away now. This is called The Final Tour, and this was recorded. Now I hear some of our California folks in the VC talking about McCabe's music shop or guitar shop in Santa Monica, California, and McCabe's they had a back room that sat maybe 50, 75 people or something. A lot of great shows took place at McCabe's. They obviously weren't there to pull in a bunch of money at the show, but it was you know, a great intimate place for concert. Ted Hawkins was a street musician basically for many years, but what drew me to him originally was the old Webb Pierce country song, There Stands the Glass, which is one of those great simple songs that just is so strong. You know, man sitting there wondering whether he's going to take that drink, that first drink of the day. Obviously he's got, you know, big problems, and there stands the glass. It's my first one today. He does a great version of that old Webb Pierce song, There Stands the Glass. It's a blues artist, acoustic blues artist. All right, well, I'm sure other people have done this one. I know Serv, I believe, started this, and Chris, the blues guy, did one, and I hadn't seen any others yet, but I'm sure some others will. But B.B. King at the Regal, the definitive recording of blues in live performance. B.B. King at the Regal. That's just a great little live recording. A lot of people have, I'm sure, and I don't remember if Chris showed that one or not. I don't think Serv did, and I think it was mentioned by one or both of them, but I'm not sure either one of them actually showed it. Maybe my favorite singer is Delbert McClinton. Now, this is not his best recording. It's good, but this is from Austin City Limits on Alligator. I think it's the only record he did on Alligator, but it's from 1989. He does Lipstick Traces, which is a great song. Sandy Beaches, B-Movie Boxcar Blues, which I believe the Blues Brothers did, if I'm not mistaken, when the original movie came out. Going Back to Louisiana, Giving It Up for Your Love, great song. But it's only got 11 songs on it. I would have loved it much more if it had more. Lightning Hopkins, Coffee House Blues. Now, this is blues in the sense, this is live in the sense that much of this was recorded on his at his home. A lot of this was recorded at his home, and the others were in the studio. But you know, how can you beat Lightning Hopkins? And a nod to one of my friends. This is Bill Lyerly, and it's live at the, I don't know how you pronounce this, DEVEREAUX. I don't know how to pronounce that last part. Devereaux, live at the Devereaux, something like that. Dexter Horton plays the drums, and Pete George is on the bass. This was recorded around 2015. Bill's done a lot of blues. He's primarily a blues player these days. He's from Eastern North Carolina, played in country rock bands we used to go see all the time back when we were young, and kind of transitioned more into the blues over the years till he's a full-fledged blues artist. And although he'll play other stuff too, but that's his main focus. Maybe 10 years or so, he moved to Spain, and he's based out of Spain most of the year, and he plays Europe. He's got some of his recordings remastered at Abbey Road, and he's put those out. And so for about 3 or 4 months a year, he'll come back here, and if we can, we try to catch him playing at one of the clubs here in North Carolina somewhere. But for the most part, those of you in the vinyl community that live in one of the European countries, if you see a blues guy named Bill Lyerly playing in your area, let me highly recommend him. This is a great live recording. It's in studio, but it's recorded live. Binary mic. They set 2 mics up and went and just recorded what they did. They didn't do any overdubs. They just they wanted to get the true live sound of this band, and I think he pulled it off with that too. And back years and years ago, I used to do record reviews for just a local. I didn't get paid or anything. It was just kind of a hobby thing, kind of like the VC. I would write little record reviews for a local publication that came out every 2 weeks. You know, they were always looking for something to put in there, some to fill up their magazine every 2 weeks. So I would write some reviews. And somehow online I came across this guy, Michael Hawkeye Herman. And you folks out in the Midwest may know him. Iowa, I believe, maybe is his base. And he recorded, I talked to him online a little bit and told him what I did. And he said, well, I'll send you my CD. He said, this is some great acoustic blues. Maybe 4 or 5 songs. There's about 14 songs on here. He does several of his own compositions. And he does Statesboro Blues. He does his own compositions, really good. Rocket to Chicago's one of them. And he does the Great Flood of '93, telling a story about when the Mississippi flooded in his home area. He does Sitting on Top of the World. He does a couple of Robert Johnson songs on here. Great acoustic guitarist, and just a really fine album. If you're familiar with him, I'd love to hear you comment on him. And then the last one, this one I used to love. I'll probably get back into my car now that I've got these out. Had all these in storage, CDs in storage, because I never listen to CDs anymore. But this used to get played all the time in my car. It's Magic Sam Live. Part of it's from a festival in Ann Arbor, the Ann Arbor Blues Festival from 1969. It's just Magic Sam, Bruce Barlow on bass, and Sam Lay on drums. Remember, I mentioned Sam Lay as the artist that the Music Maker Relief Foundation had been trying to help out recently, as he fell on some hard times. But the bulk of it is from the Alex Club, and it's just really some good, hard, real, true Chicago nightclub blues. Magic Sam, Eddie Shaw was playing the tenor sax, A.C. Reed is playing the tenor sax, Mac Thompson's on the bass, Huckleberry Hound, real name Robert Wright, plays the drums. But there's 10 live blues records that I'll throw out there for your consumption. If you'd like to, please subscribe to my channel. I also have a competition or a contest going on right now through March 1st. Look for that. If you subscribe to me, look for that. I believe it's episode number 27 or so. And enter that competition. I've got actually, it'll probably be a blues album that you can win if I pull your name on that. All right. Everybody take care. Remember, be kind to your neighbor, and everybody is your neighbor.